Good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up this afternoon, China and France assure Ghana of signing an MOU for bilateral debt restructuring. Also ahead, government will soon roll out a new program specifically targeted at creating more jobs and sustaining the expansion of the economy. We will be hearing from Information Minister Kojo Ponkruma. My name is Daryl. Kwawu. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. And thanks for being with us, everyone. China and France have given some indication of signing a memorandum of understanding with Ghana to restructure the country's bilateral debt. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta disclosed this on the sidelines of the annual IMF World Bank meetings in Marrakesh, Morocco. George Rafi has the rest of the story.
Speaking at a news conference in Marrakesh, Morocco, the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, was optimistic about securing this financial assurance based on the engagement he's had with China and France.
Yes, we did meet with the French group who are co-chairs, and we also did meet with the governor of the Central Bank of China, who is a co-chair, and we are quite assured that they would be able to deliver what the IMF is looking for the board meeting to be successful in the third week of November. So we'll still keep at it, but we leave feeling quite assured that what they did with financial assurances in May of last year, they will come through the requisite documentation for an MOU for that meeting.
The Finance Minister was also optimistic about growing the economy by more than 2% by the end of this year, based on some programs that government is currently implementing.
Yes, I think the fund expected us to do 1.5% by year end. I think average for the first 6 months is 3.2%, and therefore we expect it to be maybe closer to 2.5% at the end of the year, which is really strong.
The Finance Minister has also been talking about how government is working to deal with the concerns raised by the IMF on the level of tax exemptions granted to investors and businesses.
As you know, we already went through Parliament with this issue of tax exemptions and how to make sure that they are relevant to the agenda of, at the same time, getting investors in and also being able to make sure that you don't give too much away. And that's what will continue.
On inflation, the Finance Minister was optimistic that the current slowdown that we are experiencing will be sustained based on other things that government is doing together with the Bank of Ghana to bring the situation under control.
Energy negotiations with the IPPs continue. There was an energy sector recovery program that has been agreed on, and the fund has accepted the document. So we are in good shape with that. But so far, we've been able to keep the lights on. There have not been any queues. We have a pretty safe environment. We are working with inflation in the right direction. The currency quite stable over this period, and growth being stronger than what the fund thought it would be. So as I say, we keep overcoming the hurdles, and as long as we all invest in talking the country up positively, I think that hope that is required, will manifest.
From Marrakesh, Morocco, where the annual IMF World Bank meetings took place, this is George Rafi reporting for Joy Business.
And we'll still stay with the IMF World Bank annual meetings in Marrakesh, Morocco, because Zambia has advised Ghana to take steps to ensure measures have been put in place to prevent future accumulation of debts. This, he believes, will secure the country financing assurance from its bilateral creditors by next month. The Southern African country, which is on a similar path, same as Ghana, managed to secure an MOU from China and 20 member countries after 9 months. Let's listen to that country's finance minister, who was responding to a question by Joy Business.
I think Ghana is, I don't want to comment about Ghana because I'm not responsible for that. All I can say is that for us, the most important thing was to accept that we have a problem. Yeah? Right from the very beginning, Zambia, we accepted that we have a problem. Let's not hide it under the carpet. Come out and say, you have a problem. After that, we searched around and say, what are the possible solutions? What was on the table was a common framework. We searched around to say, what else is available to solve this problem? The only thing that we saw as being viable was the common framework, because it was supported by the international community, having discussion amongst themselves. So we said, this is the route to go. The third thing, to get the support of the international community, lenders and other people. Obviously, they must come to the conclusion that you are worthy of their support. You are worthy of their support. You are willing to take steps to assist yourself. Otherwise, what would be the point in assisting anyone who is not serious? So we concluded, not even concluded, we are convinced that we needed to reform ourselves. Obviously, there was a problem. We needed to undertake reform of making sure that we don't allow a further reoccurrence of debt in the future. So we put a law in Parliament which tied my hand to say, going forward, you cannot be as like those in the past. So we tied our hands for Parliament to have more power and the restrictions on borrowing. We also say to ourselves, money is now limited. This money is going to be spent on the most critical of all interventions.
So the government will soon roll out a new program specifically targeted at creating more jobs and sustaining the expansion of the economy. The Growth and Jobs program is expected to secure cabinet approval this week to help guide its implementation. Information Minister Kojo Ponkuma has been giving some more details about this initiative to Joy Business in Marrakesh, Morocco, on the sidelines of the annual IMF World Bank Spring meetings.
Level, we are seeing the numbers stabilizing. Many are asking, when are the people at the ordinary level in terms of the social impact of all these things we are seeing? When are we going to feel that impact? Because there are some who still think that we are not feeling the impact.
I mean, I think it's good to agree as a first point that we are beginning to see a turnaround in the numbers at the macro level. Admittedly, when you talk of trickle-down economics, it takes a while for it to trickle down, and we're expecting that sooner than later it will trickle down. But I think the president's also been clear that we need to quicken efforts that ensure trickling down. That's why, for example, if you take growth is about how is the economy expanding or gearing up productivity. The target was about 1.5. But I think the president was quite clear that some efforts need to be put in place, particularly in the area of agriculture, etc., to ensure that it picks up faster than the 1.5. And already we are seeing about a 3.3, 3.2. Coupled with that, also then means that food price inflation will be tinkering down a little bit. And so the idea is to quicken it so that it trickles down faster.
And are we going to see anything change, or we are still going to be on the trajectory because those past policy measures have seen the macro numbers moving towards the direction that some may describe it as good?
I mean, I think you're going to see a deepening of the measures that are bringing about the turnaround. On the growth side, the president has asked for a jobs and growth plan to be submitted to him. I know the Ministry of Finance and the related ministries have done a lot of work on it. It should be signed off the coming weekend or so at the cabinet retreat, and then you will see a deepening of the growth agenda. On the cost of living side, which has been one of our biggest challenges as a country in the last about 1.5 years or so, the central bank is continuing with its tightening policy. They've been quite clear about that. It's helping on the non-food side, and the rail sector side, led by Agric Ministry and Transport Ministry, are also working to ensure that on the food side they can also help to bring it down a little bit. So again, there as well, you see a deepening of the efforts. And then if you go to the fiscal side, we are clear that we want to keep the primary balance in shape so that we're able to reduce the rate of new debt accumulation. I think if you look at the numbers for the first 2 quarters of the year, it tells you that again we're on track on that, and there will be a deepening of that as well. So long and short is that you will see a deepening of the efforts that are bringing about the turnaround in the second, in the final quarter of the year.
Tell me more about this jobs and growth document that Cabinet is set to give a green light to. Why this? Because some say that the policies are already there. It's about fast tracking and strict commitment, whipping all the agencies to line to implement.
Absolutely, but if that was to hold, then no government will even prepare an economic program or a budget. You need to always be examining the results from what you are doing and seeing what you can do more of, which is working, and stop doing what is not working. It's in that context that growth programmed at 1.5, the president said, I need this thing to move faster, because growth comes with jobs usually, and jobs bring incomes to people. Incomes allow people to have a higher quality of life. So the president says, I'm seeing 1.5, can we do better than 1.5? What do? You detail out the measures you need to take, and now you're beginning to see it. Next year, what is it, 2.8, if nothing happens? So what are you going to do to move it from 2.8 to maybe 3 or 3.5? Those are the additional measures that you need to take. So it's in that context that he's asking us to deepen all the measures that are being taken.
All right, you're watching the marketplace. We want to turn attention to the situation in the Volta region. I'm sure you've been following our stories on the devastation caused by the spillage over there. We want to bring in the Ghana Hotels Association. Why? Because it has announced that some of the hotels in the Volta region and some recreational facilities have been affected by the spillage. Joining me is President of the Association, Dr. Edward Akanyamike Jr. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Tell us a bit more about the level of devastation as you're hearing.
Right, Daryl, thank you so much, and good afternoon to your viewers and listeners as well. Since the spillage started, we were monitoring what was going on through our regional branches, especially the Eastern region and the Volta region. And yesterday we got some reports from the Eastern region. They actually took a visit to some of the affected resorts. We're talking about Afikiko River Resort at Akosobo, and then Alos Bay at Impoku, Royal Senchi, Adi Lake Resort. These are all facilities that have been affected. What they observed was that for now the flood has affected their sitting areas, the outdoor sitting areas. Flooding in the rooms, which is very good. So the challenge is the external or outdoor sitting areas. Again, from the Volta, a very detailed report yet. For now, we has also been affected, but again, we haven't had a report that the rooms have been affected. The now is about the perception that it has created with regards to patronage, because accessing the hotels is becoming a challenge. Accessing those resorts it's become a challenge because of the flood. So certainly patronage has gone very low. That's the situation now.
I mean, we've been monitoring the news, and even for the individuals affected by this, it's taken a long time for help to come to them. So I don't even want to ask if there is some sort of help coming to them from, let's say, the government or the other companies involved in this, the VRA and all of that. I just also want to find out, though, how is the Ghana Hotels Association helping your members affected by this?
Well, Daryl, the point is that this is certainly a communal issue, and of course, to some extent, a national issue as well. So it's not just about the hotels, because it's about residential facilities, it's about other businesses and all that. So we are looking more at a holistic approach from the authorities in seeing how best the affected businesses and residents and community members will be supported to go through this unfortunate situation. As an association, unfortunately, when it comes to resources to help in some of these instances, it's a big challenge because we are very limited in our resource. However, using your medium, for instance, and other media houses to bring the attention to the authorities, it's in itself a sort of assistance that we are providing to our members, and also to prompt them to get in touch with the authority, the NADMO, the MMDAs, the VRA, and all other agencies that can be of help. Because this is something that's very difficult to even deal with it as an individual entity. It's going to be very difficult dealing with it, and it will require that effort from the organizations that have been mandated to do that. So we are using this medium to draw the attention of those authorities to support, yes.
And I'm just hoping that their operations are also insured, because that could be helpful. I want to ask you about the impact. I mean, you sort of alluded to it. There's just a few days, weeks to Christmas, and this is a time operators of these facilities are hoping to cash in. And so with this devastation is really wrong timing for any business. What sort of impact do you think is going to have on their operations, and do you think they are going to be able to survive during these days to come as we head into the festive season?
Daryl, as we speak, we can only hope and pray. We can only hope and pray that the water, first of all, recedes as fast as possible, and also that needed relief in terms of creating motorable access to some of these facilities will come quickly enough to ensure that they are accessed in the first place, and also for guests to be able to lodge in there. So it's a terrible situation. And like I said,
I don't even think anybody wants to go there for the festive season, looking at the pictures that we are seeing on our screen. And so that could be pretty worrying.
That's a massive headache. You see, that's a massive headache. And, I mentioned earlier on that with the situation in these two regions now and other areas, people are glued to their media, getting information. Look at the pictures you're showing. I mean, how possible would it be to access this on these places? And I'm glad you mentioned the issue about insurance, because I asked for some information or some briefing on that, and I'm yet to get a positive feedback on that. And probably it may be the wrong timing, because when the disaster strikes like that, you are now thinking about insurance. That's a major challenge. However, it's also probably a wake-up call for us to look at some of these issues when it comes to insurance. I'm just praying and hoping that some of them are covered by insurance in relation to, so at least a few of the things, or some of the things that they would lose in the process, can be compensated through insurance.
Fingers crossed. Dr. Edward Akunyamike, President of the Ghana Hotels Association, thank you so much. Now let's turn to other news. The Ghana Chamber of Mines has raised issues with the continuous erection of unauthorized structures on lands leased to mining companies, which is one. Shacks continue to spring up on the mine's concession, stalling expansion works of its mineral waste collection point. Now, Director of External Relations and Communication at the Chamber, Ahmed Natoma, says the illegal activity threatens mining investment. Here's more in this report.
Engulfed by the hushed and green scenery at Dochikrom in the Esutifi north of the Ahafo region are hundreds of unauthorized structures made from wood or metallic roofing sheets. These speculative structures, numbering over 300, are shelters for weeds sprouting from the ground and not their builders. Their owners anticipate huge compensations, a practice that mining industry players are unhappy with. Speaking with journalists for business advocacy, Director of External Relations and Communication at the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Ahmed Ntongma, was worried over the habitual practice.
Speculative activities that we saw and what we continue to see is bad for Ghana as a mining destination, because I'm sure the company is not expected to cheat anybody. It's supposed to pay fair, adequate and prompt compensation. So with that people are doing speculation, it is delaying the process. And the more it delays the compensation process, the more it delays the project. And the more it delays the project, the more it affects the income that Ghana will get from mining and the image of Ghana as a mining destination. Because for 2 years or more, the Ahafo South expansion, tailings expansion facility has not been able to begin. And it's all because of speculation. The genuine ones have been identified, but the speculators, a few of them are blocking everybody, and it's not good at all for investment.
Although the company says it is working to compensate legal owners of properties on the land, the menace is affecting expansion works of storage facility, which was due for construction in 2019. Samuel Osei is External Relations and Communication Manager at the mine.
We've had over 800 people who have gone through structure verifications, and out of that, those whose structures have been proven to be eligible for compensation, we have started and compensation is ongoing. So there are these little issues that are getting in the way of the process that I believe that if we'll get the cooperation of our community members, we should be able to get them out of the way and ensure that people are resettled and compensated. We want to live in harmony with our people, as we've had all over the years, and we want to ensure that our presence here as a company inures to the benefit of the community members and the entire Ghanaian economy. So we should have advanced this significantly, but because of these lingering issues, it's lingered. So what we are doing now is to commit to the process, and as soon as we're able to clear all these things, we should resume.
For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel. That's quick.
Unilever Ghana PLC has launched its Lifeboy Carbolic soap, which replaces the popular Guardian soap. According to category marketing manager of skin cleansing at Lifeboy, Frederick Asari, the company is committed to providing quality and affordable products for customers. He was speaking at the hand-washing campaign at the Services Basic School here in Accra.
The global hand-washing campaign at the Services Basic School, organized by Lifeboy, was aimed at instilling hygienic practices in young people. The children were taught thorough ways to wash their hands. Speaking to Joy Business, category marketing manager of skin cleansing at Lifeboy, Frederick Asari, said the campaign will continue to prioritize the well-being of customers through the provision of affordable products.
We will continue our journey in driving hand hygiene in Ghana through our kids and our kids as ambassadors and our hand wash CEO who drive peer-to-peer education. Like my colleague mentioned early on, we have launched our Lifeboy Carbolic soap, which affectionately in the public some people call the Guardian soap or Champion Carbolic. Champion Carbolic or Guardian soap has come under the brand Lifeboy, and that soap now will continue to drive its efficacy and its affordability in the market. It is most effective on the skin, and then also is affordable for every single Ghanaian to have a bar of soap and be protected from germs.
Director of General Administration at the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, Patricia Dovi-Sampson, said hand washing is critical for the protection of the country's human resource.
The Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources remains unwavering in its commitment to ensure safe water and proper sanitation and hygiene services are delivered to the good people of Ghana. The role of the community is critical if we are to achieve our set Sustainable Development Goals targets on water and sanitation. Engaging schools and communities in planning and implementing wash interventions is one of the most cost-effective approaches, which could therefore lead to sustained services. It also instills a strong sense of commitment, ownership, and empowerment amongst community members, enabling them to take the lead in driving initiatives aimed at enhancing their own health.
Unilever Ghana also reiterated its commitment towards contributing to sustainable living.
And that's the marketplace, everyone. Thanks for watching. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Just to run by you some of our top stories there. Petrol, diesel, LPG prices to go down between 2% and 6% from October 16. That's according to the IAS. Also, debt restructuring. Government begins negotiations with private creditors and Eurobond holders. More on myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl. Kwawu. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to Joy News.